So in the previous video, I used these found lithium cells to begin to create a 12 volt power supply using this BMS. I just want to say about lithium cells is that these can be really dangerous. Don't mess about with them if you don't know what you're doing. I only vaguely know what I'm doing, but thankfully I've had no fires with them yet. But you just have to be careful, because if they're damaged, don't ever collect one that's broken or been run over by a car or anything like that. And if you take one apart, the devices that they're in, and you see that these are in any way damaged, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Because even if there's nothing connected to them, sometimes they can just catch fire, so be careful of that. So obviously don't do this at home. If you do charge any and it's your own power pack, don't ever leave it charging unattended, or even powering anything unattended. Just know your escape route, and make sure that, as Big Clive would say, you have a explosion containment dish nearby in case anything goes wrong. But you do need to treat these the same way as you treat those racing packs. If you do remote control stuff, just be well careful with them. In the following video, I'm recording this in the future, I've also been using this little capacity meter briefly at the start. And what I didn't realise at the time is that these come out of the box with set for lead acid cells. These are lithium cells. So I'll change that in another video and show you how you can change it if you've got one of these, so that it works with the battery technology that you're using. But anyway, sorry about the exposures on the next shot. I don't know what was going on. For some reason it was too bright. Then I tried to darken it and it's rubbish, but hopefully it gets better in the middle. So enjoy today's part 2 video. All right, I've just left this for a while, and it's at 65 now. It's 12.2 volts. So I mean, this little thing, it's a little LED, but it's not taking that much power anyway. So I could try and charge this, or let's try and power something else from it. I'll leave this on because I can always unplug it just by unplugging there. I'm going to solder a couple of leads onto this for output now. To be a little bit careful with this now, this is still all live, so I don't want these to jump around and touch something else. So I've got an output there, 12.1 volts now. So let's carefully cut these as well. I'm not going to cut them at the same time, because if you cut them at the same time it might short it out as well. Sounds obvious, but easy to forget and do it, and I have done. Cut those at different lengths as well to try and prevent any issues. So I've got one of these little voltage converters, little board here with a little adjustment in. So let's see if I can get it to light up from my little BMS that I've got. Still showing 12.1 volts. Let's put the negative in first. So negative goes in there. That feels okay. Now it should light up if it works. It should light up now when I put the positive one in. Well, that looks good. Oh no, that's giving... Oh, it was giving 5 volts out. Now it's giving 9 volts out. That's nice. Now I'm not sure what this does. Okay, that sets the voltage out. So let's take that down to about 5 volts. Let's set it to 5 volts exactly, and see whether I'm getting a voltage out of this. Probably going to be the wrong way around, but yeah, so 5 volts out of that, and this top one is the positive. So I can use that to drive one of these little things. This is just a pin out for a USB. Let's take a wire from that. Let's just put positive and negative, so that will just give pure 5 volts out and do nothing else with it. So let's wire that up. And this top is positive. Can we still see that? Yeah, the top is positive. And the bottom is negative or ground. Connect those up. The ground can go on there. And voltage on there. Let's put those into the output of this now. So I've got these little terminals in there. I'm just trying something with those, but let's just pull those out. We don't need those. And then positive was the top one. Tighten that down. and the negative was the bottom one. Right, so I've got this USB load, which I don't want to plug directly in, but because I want to measure how much my little BMS has got. So let's pull back a little bit so you can see everything that's going on there. So this is a little USB tester. So let's pop that in to begin with and just see whether I get a voltage off this. Well, it's upside down, isn't it? No, it's not. Always a second. 5.03 volts. And this records how long it's on as well. We got 5.3 volts. So if I put this in, hopefully, let's just make sure they're set to minimum. If I put this in now, this will begin to put a load. Yeah. So that's now drawing a little bit of current. Now all I really need to do now is just leave it. So 0.55 amp. You know, let's wind this up and see how much this can actually deliver. This thing might cut out, or the BMS might cut out. I don't know. So remember, we've got all these different voltages here. Let's turn this up a little bit. Yeah, so it's drawing 100 milliamps now, 110 milliamps. Well, the voltage on the batteries have gone down. Well, that's probably all right. Let's bring it up to half an amp. All right, so this still is working. Are these batteries getting hot? Well, they don't seem to be getting hot at all. And it's very cold in the cave. We're actually using some of the battery now. See, it's gone down to 11.7 volts. Remember, I hadn't really charged these properly. I'd not charged them up in the BMS. These reusable objects are powering USB. And it can take 5 out. I wonder if I can take an amp from it. Okay, could be dangerous. But let's turn this up a bit more. Is that as high as I can do? Oh, now it's cut out, you see. So suddenly this thing just began to cut out. Bunk, there it goes. So there's too much there. About 600 watts this thing gives. Of course, I might be able to change this on here. I don't know. I've not really looked a lot at this power supply. But if I leave this on now, this will remember how much power that I've pulled from these cells. I still don't feel warm. I feel very cold, but they still don't feel warm at all. But it's going down on there. So interesting. Of course, if I found more of these recreational devices that had been disposed of, and I found some more batteries like this one, I could double up the cells on this and give this more capacity. Don't know whether any of these are hot now. They shouldn't be, I don't think. I'm not pulling. If this is 40 amp, this should be very easy to cope with. Just some experiments in this video today. I know I've not gone really far with it, but it's just, how can I use these cells? Can I get something meaningful out of it? Obviously, I wouldn't have something as complicated as this in it, but I'm getting very close to a power bank here. Definitely a USB power bank that's capable of doing stuff. I wonder if I can get it to charge my phone yet. I think the next thing to do is to see if I can get a little module that gives power delivery instead of just this little dumb module that I've got here for USB, and then maybe I can do something clever with it that way. If nothing else, in the next video I'm going to use this to try and power some Nixie tubes. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Bye! This is still all live, so I don't want these to jump around and touch something else.